welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Purity. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today we are crocheting this cardigan and it has buttons. This is how it looks. It's maroon in color. I did it baggy. Let me stand up so you can see how it looks. This is how it looks, and I like this style here. It's more of gathers. And this is how the back looks. It's a bit baggy. I wanted it this baggy, and it has this ribbing here, then the buttons, then the hands also. Sorry, the wrists have this ribbing. And this is how my sweater looks. So welcome so much to my YouTube channel. Please remember to subscribe again. Then let's get started with the tutorial. I am using chunky yarn. Seal is a Kenyan brand, and this is 100 grams acrylic yarn. This is color 5120. We are using a 5.0 mm hook, a pair of scissors, a 2.5 mm hook, a tape measure, a darning needle, and we'll also need stitch markers for this project. This is how we will work on our cardigan stroke sweater. We are starting from the back panel. Now I'm making a slip knot. This is how I make my slip knots, and we will do chains. I will chain 75 chains. I am done with my chains. This is how it looks. This is 75 chains. Remember, we are doing a baggy sweater that can fit size medium or small. And this is equivalent to 21 inches. Okay, now we want to begin on our main stitch, which is double crochets. Chain 2 more chains, yarn over, skip the first 2 chains, and on the 3rd chain do a double crochet. And we are working double crochets across all the 75 chains that you have. I am done, and this is my first row of double crochets. And remember, we're working double crochets all through. To begin row 2, chain 2, turn your work, and we are still working on double crochets on row 2. So this is the pattern. We will work double crochets across all the chains that you have until you get to the height that you want. Remember to always chain 2 to begin a new row, and I'll see you once you have the perfect height that you want for your cardigan. I'm done, and this is how my work looks. I did a total of 38 rows. Now we want to start working on the front panels. So you're going to fold your work into 2 like this. And then fold again like this. So you're folding the first half and then the second half. I'm just making sure my work is well aligned, and I'm hoping you did not cut off your yarn because we need to continue with the front panel immediately. So once you make sure your work is well aligned, as I'm doing, we will start working on the front panel. You'll need your 2 stitch markers. Take the first stitch marker and put it at the edge of your sweater, the outer side first, like this, and lock it in, and put the second stitch marker in the inside part of the sweater, just at the edge, like this, and lock it in. When you unfold your work, this is how it looks. You have your stitch markers well placed. That marks where we will start and end our front panels. Okay, so we now continue with the pattern of the front panels. It's the same thing. We'll work up to the first stitch marker. So I'm just confirming how many rows I have, so I know how many rows I will do for the front panels. As I said earlier, it's 38 rows, but sometimes it's good to confirm your work. We're now working on the front panel, on the first front panel. Put back your hook, chain 2, turn your work, and we are continuing the same pattern, which is double crochets. So you're working double crochets until you reach the first stitch marker, and I'll meet you once you're the first stitch marker. I'm at the stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker and place the last double crochet where you removed the stitch marker. So you'll chain 2, turn your work, and go back and do double crochets until where we began. So from now on, we will be turning from this point, and you will do normal double crochets until you get to the height of the back panel, which is 38 rows. So that is the pattern, and we will do that until you get to the height of your back panel. As I said prior, my back panel is 38 rows, and we will do the same thing up to 38 rows. Then we will start on the second front panel. So I'll meet you once you're done with your first front panel. I am done with my first front panel, and this is how it looks. It's the same height as the back panel. I'm hoping you have the same thing as mine. So cut off your yarn and reinforce it well so that your work does not run. Tie a knot and make sure it's well reinforced. Yeah, like that. Then we will come to where we put our stitch marker, the second stitch marker here, and insert our hook and begin on the second panel. Reattach your yarn and insert your hook, and the first stitch that we do will be on the stitch marker, and we will do double crochets up to the end, and I'll meet you once you're done with the first row. At the end of row 1, to begin row 2, chain 2, turn your work, and we're doing double crochets until where we put our stitch marker, and that will be our turning point. The same thing that we did with the first front panel. So we are doing that until we get to 38 rows, or the rows that you have. Then I will meet you once you have your 2 front panels done and the back panel, so that we begin on the sleeves. I am done, and this is how my work looks. We have 2 front panels and back panel, and are both of the same height, stroke length, whichever. So now we want to start working on the sleeves. This is one of the sleeves. It looks like this, and it has this ribbing at the wrist area, and the hand is made of the same stitch you've been working with. Then it decreases to make the ribbing at the wrist area. And if we measure this, it's a total of 17 inches. That is how long we want our sleeve minus the ribbing area. So let me show you how we create the hand and the wrist area. So to begin, we are working on the sleeve area. To begin, first you need to do a slip knot. This is how I do my slip knot. Then we will chain 50 chains. That will be a foundation chain for the sleeve area. I am done, and these are 50 chains. Do 2 more chains. Chain 2 more chains. Yarn over, skip the first 2 chains, and on the 3rd chain do a double crochet like this, and we are working double crochets across all the 50 chains or any other chains that you have. Then I'll meet you at the end of this first row. I am done, and this is how row 1 looks. It's a bit shorter than the other panels we have been working with. Chain 2, turn your work, and we are doing, always remember to skip this first stitch and go to the next stitch for your work to be straight, okay? And we are doing double crochets across all the chains that we have. This is the same pattern we have been working with, and we will do the same thing until we get to a length of 17 inches, which is equivalent to 31 rows. And I'll meet you once you have your 31 rows or 17 inches, okay? It's the same pattern we've been working with. Those are 2 rows, so I'll show you one more row, then I'll meet you once you have your work done, and we'll be ready to start the decreasing of the wrist area. This is how my work looks. Remember, this is 17 inches. Looks like this, and it's equivalent to 31 rows. I just want to confirm my measurements are right. Yeah, sure, this is 17 inches length from the shoulder area up to few inches to your wrist area. And now we want to work on this wrist area. We want to start doing reductions so that your sweater fits at the wrist area. To start with the reductions, kindly, I hope you did not cut off your yarn. So do not cut off your yarn. Insert back your hook, and we want to start working on the reductions. Chain 2, turn your work like this, and immediately start working on the reductions. Once you've yarned over, insert your hook in the first stitch like that, and come out from the second stitch like that, and finish by doing a double crochet like that. That is our first reduction. Yarn over, skip this stitch because we came through that stitch, go to the next stitch, this one, and come out from the next stitch like that, and finish up by doing a double crochet like this. That is our second reduction, and we will do all like this all around the stitches that you have. Okay, so if you don't understand this part, kindly go back and rewatch, because I'm hoping it's a very simple tutorial. So we'll do this until the end of your first row, okay? And I'll meet you once you're done with the reductions. This is how my work looks after we have done the reduction. You can see it has reduced by an inch or so. So we want to work on row 2 of the wrist area. Chain 2, and we will work with front posts and back posts. We will alternate between front post and back post. Always remember to turn your work after you've chained 2, and then we'll begin with front posts. This is how we do a front post. The next stitch will be a back post, And this is how we do a back post, like this. And we're alternating between front post and back post all through until we come to the end of this second row. I'm done with row 1, and this is how my work looks. The reductions are still coming in very well. That is how row 1 looks. You can see it has reduced greatly. So we want to begin on row 2. Chain 2, turn your work, and this is now easier because where there was a front post we will insert a front post, and where there is a back post we will put a back post. This is a front post, so we'll do a front post like that. The next is a back post, so we'll go at the back like that and do a back post, and we will do like this until we get to the end of this row. And probably this is the pattern for the next 4 rows. I did a total of 5 rows, sorry. So we will alternate between front post and back post and do a total of 5 rows, or whichever number of rows that you want, okay? I'm done, and this is how my work looks. I'm hoping yours looks the same too. The hands are baggier, then the sleeve area is smaller, and this is stretchy so it can fit any other type of arm, big or small. Cut off your yarn and make sure it's well reinforced, and go ahead and make the second sleeve. Then I'll meet you once you are ready to join everything together. And make sure all your sleeves are of the same length and width, like that. So once you have everything together, the front panel, back panels, and 2 sleeves, you're going to join everything together. And to do that, you have to arrange your work like this. You have to lay your work flat like this. Determine the wrong side and the right side, because we are going to join this at the wrong side. So determine where you want to be the wrong side and where you want to be the right side. The wrong side should be up and the right side should be facing down. Get one of your sleeves. Determine where you want the wrong side to be and the right side. I want this to be the wrong side. We are going to fold it into 2. Make sure it's well aligned. Take your stitch marker and place it at the edge like this, and we will bring it where we started working on our front panel, right here, and we will place it there, so like that, and close that off. We'll do the same thing to the other sleeve. Find the wrong side. The wrong side will always be up. Fold into 2 Make sure it's well aligned. Take your stitch marker and put at the edge. And then we will bring the sleeve to where we started working on the first front panel, which is here. Then join the two together using this stitch marker and lock it. Once you're done, we are going to arrange your work well now, because we want to join everything together. Okay, so make sure everything is well aligned like this, and then now you can join together. I'm going to use my hook, but before I do that, I make sure everything is well aligned. Okay, so joining, you can either use your darning needle. For me, I like using my hook. This is a smaller hook. It's 2.5 mm hook, and I'm using single crochets to join together. Remember, you can always use your darning needle. So I will meet you once you have your sleeves joined together. Okay, so that is how we join the sleeve to the garment. And remember to remove your stitch marker once you get there. This is how my work looks. This is the wrong side. It looks like this, and the right side looks like this. So we will join the rest of the garment together and also join the other sleeve together, and I will meet you once you have everything joined together. Remember, we are using single crochets. Okay, so I am done and everything is joined together. I joined the sleeves together and the rest of the garment, and this is how it looks. And now we want to start working on the ribbing from the shoulder area down to the front panels and then the other side, which is the lower side. And to do that, we'll reattach your yarn in one of the front panels, and we are doing double crochets from this first front panel up to the shoulder area down to the second front panel. Okay, so I will meet you once you're done with the row 1 of double crochets on the front panel, the shoulder area up to the second panel. I am done with row 1 of double crochets. As I said, we went all around like this up to here. Now we want to begin on row 2. On the lower side, we'll do that once we're done with the first this side. So to begin row 2, we will chain 2, turn your work, and this will be a row of front post and back post, the same way we did on the wrist area. So we are working on front posts and back posts from this front panel across the shoulder area up to the other second front panel. Okay, so do that and I'll meet you at the other side of the second front panel. Remember, we are working with front posts and back posts. I went ahead and did 2 rows. You know how we are doing front post and back post, so I just did 2 rows and I placed stitch markers where I want my buttonholes to be. So place stitch markers where you want your buttonholes to be once you're done with 2 rows of front posts and back posts. Okay, this is where I want my buttonholes to be. Looks like that after 2 rows of front posts and back posts all around the 2 front panels and neck area. Once you've done that, we are going to put the buttonholes. So we are continuing with front post and back post until you get to your first stitch marker. Once you get there, we'll put a buttonhole, and to do that, chain 1, skip the first stitch, which is either front post and back post, and go to the next stitch. As for me, here is the front post, meaning I skipped the back post. And after that, we will continue with a normal front post and back post until we get to the next stitch marker. Okay, I hope you understand this. So once we are on the next stitch marker, we will chain 1, skip 1 stitch, go to the next stitch, and continue with the pattern, which is front posts and back posts. Okay, I'm hoping this is clear. We've got to our next stitch marker, which is this. So we will chain 1 and skip the next stitch and do normal front post and back post. And this depends on the kind of buttons that you have. If you have big buttons, you'll chain 2. If you have small buttons, you'll chain 1. If you have big buttons, you'll chain 2 and skip 2 stitches so that you have a big buttonhole. But I have small buttons, that's why I'm chaining 1 and only skipping 1. Okay, so do that until the end of the other row. Then we will come back doing front post and back post, and I will show you how we do the ribbing at the buttonhole. Okay. We want to do the first ribbing at this first buttonhole. We've come to this end, and to do that, you go inside the buttonhole and just do a normal double crochet like that. So in one buttonhole, we are doing 2 double crochets, and then after that we will continue with the pattern, which is front posts and back posts. So we'll do front post and back post until we get to the next buttonhole, whereby we will do 2 double crochets inside the buttonhole just to reinforce it. Okay, so that is our first buttonhole, and I will show you how to do the next one. As I said, we are doing 2 double crochets inside the buttonhole like that. That's the first one. Yarn over again and do another double crochet, and that is how we reinforce the buttonhole. After that, we'll just continue the normal pattern, which for here is the back post, and that is how our buttonhole looks. Now it's well reinforced. Okay, so do that until the end, and I'll meet you once you are done with this row so that we fix the buttons. Okay, I went ahead and fixed some buttons, and this is how it looks. I chose white, and I want to show you how we are fixing the buttons. I'm using a normal needle and normal yarn, that is sewing yarn. So place your button in alignment to where your buttonhole is so that it's not too far from the buttonhole. Make sure where your buttonhole is placed is directly opposite to where your buttonhole is, and we're just inserting our hook in and out the little holes on the button. This is how we fix the buttons on our garment. Okay, and we're just going in and out until the button is strong enough. That is how we fix the button. So you'll do that to all the buttons that you have, and I'll meet you once you're done. Okay, and I also went ahead and did 5 ribbing on the lower part of our garment, and that is the end of our tutorial. This is how my outfit looks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed weekend or week, and please remember to subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.